Hey, witches.
Hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode. Well, no. Well, yeah. It's another episode of the Amberlight Valley series book. This is the third installment of 3. And I never say her name right. I always want to call her Delilah or like
Dalia,
Delia. Ooh,
not Dahlia.
yeah. That I was like, there's a name I call her. I know it's wrong. But if I say it, it's one of those things where like you're gonna say it wrong, so then you say it right, and then you question yourself, and then you say it wrong.
Yes.
And you're like confident, like, oh, that's what it is, and then you're told it's incorrect. Yeah. Um, Dalia. Anyways.
Yes. This is the third book, like she said. Actually, the first book was The Christmas Witch, and it is in production for a movie right now. They're working on
Hmm.
filming and everything. Um, so this is a opportune time to cover this book. We've had it on our
Yeah.
shelves for a little while, and with the movie getting filmed and everything, we were like, well,
It's
we should go
time
ahead
to
and
come
cover this
back.
book.
Yeah. The second book was Lost in Time, and now this one is The Secrets of Starlight Lake. So,
And
um,
reading the back, it sounds like the vibes are Emily vibes. Because I think there are going to be mer people.
I know. I hope that'd be so fun. Um, yeah. So try and also, if you've read the other 3 books or the other 2 books and you haven't read this book, we weren't able to go back and reread the books.
But we recommend a reread.
Yeah, especially if you haven't read as long as we have. There was a lot of confusion when reading it. I
Yes.
was like, did this happen? Wait, who is this
Who is
character?
that?
Yeah. And then like once you skim and it's like this is like an indie author, so like it's not obviously like you can't Google it and easily find it. You have to actually like do the research to skim over it and you're like, who? Um so yeah, it's kind of like right after Lost in Time kind of ends. There wasn't really, I don't think there's like much of a time skip. If there is, it's not mentioned.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, so we come back to Brigid.
Yeah. I didn't say much about the first chapter, just that I'm trying to get back into remembering who the characters are and
Hmm.
everything. Um, but basically, she wakes up and decides she's going to have a girl circle with her girls because she had a weird dream, a
Yeah, Mary
repeated
and
weird dream.
Morgan. Yeah. Mary and Mary and Morgan. Um, Mary's not a witch. Morgan is a witch. She was related to the Stygian mist mishaps.
Yes, and
Not
it's
necessarily like a
really
reason.
prominent in the first book
Yeah.
and the
Um,
second one, I guess, but more the first one.
yeah. She was kind of like, I guess, considered a bully, like the bully type character, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, but now they're all besties.
Yes.
But yeah, so she wakes up, she tells the girls they gotta meet up, so they go and it's like Saturday morning. So she goes to um she goes downstairs to get ready and she starts getting this like inkling around her like it feels too quiet, like something is waiting to be said, but nobody quite knows the language or words to express it, like the sound of an echo from the other side of a mirror or a ripple of light that I can't quite see where it's coming from. Um, so she's been told to journal, and that's basically what she was doing. She was journaling, kind of what has been bogging her a little bit, like weighing heavy on her. Um, and so that's kind of part of the girl circle that she's hoping to remedy with the rest of them. I
Yep.
guess figure out why she's feeling that way.
Yeah. And that's really all of chapter one. These chapters
Hmm.
are very quick, which I appreciate. I'm not gonna lie. Like this episode, I think we cover all the way through chapter 14, and usually we only get through like 4 or 5 chapters.
6.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I really appreciate the short chapters. And I basically said about one thing about every chapter. Um, and my biggest thing for chapter 2 was like they kind of start being secretive with each other again. Like she's like not telling her mom about the dream and about her concerns, which was a problem in was it the
All of
second
them.
book or the first book? Yeah, like it.
I feel like it was mostly in the second because she had to go back in time. I think there was like a little bit in both of the stories, but I think mainly it was prominent in the second one because she had to go back in time. She had to meet her husband or her dad. She had to do all kinds of stuff, and she like didn't know how to tell her mom.
Yeah,
And then I think in the first book
yes.
she was like, I can't remember how long ago her like dad had passed before the first book started. But I think it had something to do with like she didn't know how to. She like knew how to open up to her mom, but there were certain parts of her that she couldn't open up to because like she just didn't maybe know how to.
Hmm.
Um, and that's kind of where Bafana came in to kind
Yeah.
of help connect the two that way. Um,
I will say that after chapter 2, in the section we read today, that's not really an issue. They communicate a lot better. But in chapter 2, there's like something that I wrote it down. I wrote page 5.
that's the first page.
I see that.
It's probably because they're
Oh,
walking.
yeah, it's
Go ahead.
because she's like, the girls are going to come over to the shop around 1. I asked them to come help me figure out this dream I keep having. And her mom's like, have I already told you about this one? And she's like, no.
Yeah, she's very short and like quick to shut it
And like,
down.
yeah, she doesn't want to talk to her about it. And I'm like, have we not learned our lesson?
Yeah. How many times have we gone through this?
Yeah.
Every time. Um, and like her mom tells her like, well, if you need help, like you girls just let me know because they're going to the shop. So like her mom's gonna be there. Um, but you can tell because her name's Saradwin. Is it Sari or Carrie?
I was pronouncing it Carrie, but I guess we'll find out when the movie comes out.
That's so true. That's so true. Okay, well, we're going to continue with Carrie because we are never right with our pronunciations anyway, so Arik,
Yeah, the first time that we had Dalia on the podcast, we called her Dahlia. So,
to be fair.
yeah.
It kind
She
of
was
looks
so
like
sweet about
Dahlia.
correcting us, though.
She
I'm
goes,
sure
I
she
get it
gets
all
it
the time.
all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. It happens all the time. And I'm like, oh gosh, well, now I feel like a dick. I should have asked you beforehand. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're
It's
also
fine.
like one of the first people we interviewed. So it was like nervous.
Yeah. We've only interviewed like 2.
Yeah. Um, so, anyways,
The only other thing I wrote about this
there we
one
go.
was like the girls come and they're talking and I said poor Mary because she isn't a witch and so sometimes she accidentally gets left out of things like
Yeah.
um Brigid like mind speaks accidentally like she because she'd been talking to Carrie earlier she didn't realize that she was doing it and Mary's like what the fuck because
Hmm.
she didn't hear it but Morgan did.
Yeah. She was like,
um
I was thinking too loud and not loud enough at the same time.
yeah. But she's such a good sport about it because she's like, oh, well, I can't hang out inside your head, but I'm here. Like,
Yeah.
and she's like, I'm so glad you're here. Like, so
That's
I
like the
just really,
positive friend that you need no matter what the situation is.
yeah, yes. And I like um, that she's still included in everything and that they really like, even their witchy things, they include her, which I feel like she earned, to be fair.
being possessed
But
and all.
yeah.
I also really like that this is considered a young adult, and young adult like readers are usually pre preschool. Absolutely not. Are usually like preteen or like high schoolers. So
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things that you can actually. I appreciate having a positive friend model
Yeah.
because you would sit there in all of these other books like Twilight and you'd be like, man, she is such a shitty friend
Jessica.
nowadays. Yeah. Bella, too, let's be real.
Really,
She's toxic
honestly.
in her own way. But like, it's so nice to have like everyone's different and it doesn't matter that they're different, they're still included. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a great, healthy model of friendship.
Yeah.
But
But yeah,
basically, they do like a tarot reading to get clarity on Brigid's dream. Um, and that's kind of where the chapter ends is with the 3 cards.
yeah, because she reads, she journaled what she heard from the words that she heard from the dream, and it was the seed emerges, stretching out and reaching, with roots while teaching. We all need to grow. We all need to break through the topsoil and take a risk. Stretching tall up to the sky. I wonder how it got so high with uh branches so beautiful. I cry. Oh Lord.
Ephemeral.
Ephemeral. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Ephemeral tears falling. So she uses that as like a base of what the cards are being pulled.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like
it's
Morgan is shuffling during that.
my favorite is anytime I see it. So whenever I was doing I have like a little tarot deck read thing at work and sometimes I'll like pull a card one to pass by not pass by the time, but to like avoid
Yeah,
what I have
task
to do.
avoidance.
uh yeah, because
Listen, pulling a tarot card is a valid replacement behavior for like scrolling on your phone or picking your nails or something like that.
yeah.
So it's okay.
So like if there's like an email or two that I like do not want to deal with or a person I need to call that I really don't want to deal with at that time. And it's one of those things where I like have to do it myself. I can't make somebody else do it for me. I'm like, fuck. And I've already scrolled on my phone enough. So like it's kind of like one of those last things where you're like, I either do it or I can like maybe figure something else out. Um So I'll pull out my like little tarot deck thing. And Allison saw it one day, my assistant, and she was like, "Oh, can you do my like reading?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm very like not confident in like reading the cards. I have to literally read from the book." Um there's only a few cards that I like feel comfortable with enough. And I was like, and if one of them gets pulled, do not freak out because it does not mean what it means, like what you think it means. And it's so funny that like that is one of the cards that was pulled here. So the star, death, and the hierophant. Well, hello. Hi. Hi, sweetness. I got a little baby. I'm in my booth in my bedroom. We're preparing the nursery for the new arrival here in a few short months. So everything is discombobulated right now. So, and I was freaking out all week. I was like, I have to record. I have auditions and I have um recording to do for the audio book or the audio drama. Like, I have like there's sound that I can't get rid of. And he's like, calm down. I'll deal with it. I'll do it for you. So he set up my booth today.
Semi-related, did you see I just sent you a chat in the chat. No, in the
I'm like looking down, like where?
um
Bug. I did turn up
yeah.
my mic. Here's the thing, my little green thing on my channel where it shows like where my mic goes up and down,
Mhm.
it doesn't I've always been told to like as I'm talking into it, like make sure it does at least 2 to 3. But I think because this is like a different
A different like
recording thing, it's not
platform.
like raw audio, I guess. It changes things up. Like I usually have to be a lot higher in other places than I do here. So,
Makes sense.
but thanks for that. It also
I
could
was
just
just
be the
like,
fact that I'm
whoa.
in my office or like in a smaller space. I don't need to have as
Yeah,
much like it turned up as much. But
true.
anyways, so the star, death, and the hierophant was picked, and that's the end of chapter 2. So then what starts chapter 3 is Morgan going, "Don't freak out," and I'm like,
Yes, because I feel like in
"Yes, girl."
every like in all kinds of pop culture, like movies, books, everything, the death card, the specific thing that pops up in my head is a movie that Brittany and I love. It's one of our comfort shows. We watch it all the time, and it's called Wine Country.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like these four women that have like grown apart, but it's more than four. I don't remember how many women. Anyway, there's like a group of women that go on vacation together, and they used to go every year, but they've started to drift apart. And this is their like coming back together. It's a comedy. It's got Amy Poehler in it. Anyway, it's really good. But one of the things they do on their trip is they hire a tarot reader, and um, the death
If it's a
card comes
comedy,
out.
oh my
Yeah,
god.
the death card comes out at one point, and it's just super funny because, of course, they all freak out because these are like
Hmm.
white suburban. Well, they're not all white, I guess, but suburbanite women. Like they don't. In fact, the person that the card is called or pulled on is not white, but they're all like, "Oh, fuck no!" Like,
Well, and it's funny too because in the there's a game called Phasmophobia, and you're basically like a ghost hunter. You're trying to figure out a type of like whatever ghost is haunting this location. And there's always cursed objects per level, and one of the cursed objects are tarot cards. And as you're pulling the tarot cards, each one does something different. But there's one that says death, and it legitimately means like an instant death. Like you're like, oh shit, here it comes, and like it comes to you. Um, so like even in games, it's signified as terrible, even if it's not.
yeah, which I don't know if she really gets into it, but if you've listened to our podcast for a while, you know that it's more about like new beginnings, rebirth, um, like
Yeah,
shedding the old you, joining the new. Like it's not actually about literal death.
it's
It
like
could be,
change.
but it's most often not.
Yeah, it just depends on what the context is. But that's what she said. She's like, the death card isn't a scary omen. Like, don't just
Yeah.
think like that. And Mary's like immediately freaking out because, of course, she doesn't understand. Um, but like they start talking about what each, and they may go into it a little bit, but they're basically talking about like what each card possibly means for the passage that was written.
Mm-hmm.
So they talk about the star. Um, And it's like, to me, this kind of means that the seed part of your dream is representing healing, inner knowing, and some kind of a activation. It tracks with the words Bridget wrote down in her journal. The cards have always helped me when I needed them before I trust myself. So it's like stretching out and reaching with roots while teaching. We all need to grow. We all need to break. Da da da. All that kind of stuff. Um, and then so the death card, she goes, is all about transformation, release, or rebirth, and it popped out right after your dream shifted from the seed to darkness. It is also connected in a way to the seed's roots reaching out, like a new path or new life forming. So it's talking about basically the through the topsoil and take a risk. So release, reform, or transformation kind of thing. And then the Hierophant, uh, spiritual structure, sacred lineage stuff. And it was talking about in her dream she made a comment about towards the end of her dream she like was in the middle of like a council of cloaked figures.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a specific type of religious structure or something that we don't know about yet.
Yeah. Um, the only thing I wrote, well, I wrote two things, but the first thing I wrote for this chapter was, I want a circle of close friends to do this type of stuff with, but South
Right?
Carolina is too far. South Carolina is too far.
I mean, I guess we could do this.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I get it. But we could do something like this.
We could. And do.
I don't think you want my dreams on the table. My
Probably
dreams are
not some
weird
of
as
mine
shit.
too. Some of mine are too.
Like when someone asks me, like, oh, like, you know how some people say, like, dreams are premonitions or like dreams are like hidden meanings or whatever. And I'm like, I don't, I don't think anyone ever needs to hear anything that I dream about because what?
Yeah. Some of my dreams are very like, what the fuck? But mine are almost always like after I eat something that I know I shouldn't like, or something like that. Or if I have sugar too close to bedtime, I'll have like really funky dreams.
Yep. It doesn't matter. I could starve myself. I could gorge myself. I can eat healthy. I could eat like shit. Sweets, no sweets, pop, no pop, water. I can get full night's rest. Like, it doesn't matter. The dreams be dreaming and they got no meaning. I remember this one dream I had, and I vividly remember it because I had it so often as a child. I hated going to like Lowe's, Home Depot, any of those kinds of places when I was a kid. And so in my dream, we're literally in this cave at like a Home Depot waiting, and I'm waiting for my parents to like check out. And at the end of the checkout is like a chasm, and it's got like a thing like you can't go over it. And on the other end is just literally on like a cliff edge, just jack-o'-lanterns the entire way. And they're making faces at me, and it's making me mad. And I'm trying to yell at them, and I'm getting pissed off because I can't yell. Like, you can't yell in a dream. You can't run in a dream,
Yeah.
nothing. And so I'm like trying to scream and yell at it to stop doing whatever. And it's just laughing or mocking me. And that's it. That's all that happens.
Sweetie. I can analyze that dream for you real quick.
No, no.
Feeling powerless and unheard in your family dynamic? What? Huh? Who said that?
Well, yeah, I did get really mad at my parents. So I would turn around and be like, do you not see them doing that to me? And they'd be like, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, so, yeah, I mean, yes. But it's like shit like that. It's like, why can't you just like replay a memory or something that happened so I can analyze what happened? Why do I gotta analyze fucking pumpkins mocking me from across the fucking gorge?
Listen,
Like,
I can't help you with that, but
like that's the kind of shit. Like, you can analyze it. You can analyze it, and you could probably find the answer right away. But that's what you're gonna get, shit like that. So by all means, have fun.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
This is kind of where I got confused though, because after we leave the girls, we go to Rowan, a
Yeah, I
Starlight.
don't remember who the fuck Rowan is. Is he the one that was
Rowan's-
like working with the mist?
Yeah. And I think he's also related to Morgan because I think Morgan's last name is the Starlight.
Okay.
And I think that's why she was so interconnected because it was like a generational problem.
Right.
But uh they're in Evermore Hollow along the river, Moon Mist River up there. And of course the Stygian mist is like egging Rowan on. But like they're talking about like you need the Amberlight stones and the artifact for like basically for the benefit of the mist. And then they're talking about like a woman or a female presence about like she's not going to recognize you. You're wasting your time. Like he's trying to like dog him down basically to get him.
Yeah.
Because I think the more negative he is, the stronger the Stygian mist is. So he's like trying to dog him down and trying to get him to a point of submissiveness.
Yeah, and trying to get him to focus on this artifact, which we don't know what that is yet, but the artifact.
I guess I thought this is where like there's like a place that comes into play
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this was the place, like this was the location in the book where it happened, but I guess not. So I'm confused a little later, not now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And then we're into chapter 4, sort of with Carrie. And Bradford shows up, and I do remember Bradford because
Yeah,
Bradford is her like friend. He's Carrie's friend. And it was her rival at the beginning, but now they have this
yeah,
weird
like
friendship.
bestie
Yeah.
relationship. To
Um,
me, he's kind of like a realtor in a way. Like he has his own shop, but like he is like very peppy and outgoing, like a realtor would be.
yeah. Or like a town council member, an overzealous town
Yeah,
council member.
like we got to get this party going. We got to do this. We got to get this festival.
Yeah. Kind of like the mayor in the second Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
Like just very like peppy and energized, but also like has a semi-neurotic side, but like wants everything to go well
yeah.
and wants yeah,
It it's kind of giving Nightmare Before Christmas Mayor, like
a little.
when he's not like, oh no, Jack, when he's not in that like state of panic.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
maybe he's trying to be mayor one day. But oh, Bradford,
Oh, Bradford.
he asked Carrie to help him with something.
Yes, the Solstice Swim Fest. So this town, I want to live here. They
Yeah,
have
right.
like
Like
holidays or festivals on all of the
it's got it's a
like
small
going with the
town
wheel of the year.
with the like pagan it's like a pagan it's not pagan, but it's like a pagan town, like a pagan small town is what it is,
Yeah, and they follow like all of their
without the
festivals and stuff
racism.
go along with the wheel of the year versus like the traditional holidays. And so they're doing a solstice swim fest at Starlight Lake. Um,
And she's got a lot
so
to deal with too, like being the Christmas witch herself.
yeah,
Um and her own shop and like her daughter being like not wanting to talk.
yeah,
Now planning and doing everything because like the plants, the tree, um I guess there's plants that are a problem, there's a tree that's having issues.
yeah. The World Tree
Yeah.
portal is sick.
So she's trying to figure all of that out on top of being a mom, a business owner, and event planner.
Yeah. So she's just like exhausted and she goes home and um she has like a moment where she feels something stirring in the air, like magic stirring in the air. And when she opens her grimoire, it starts to like flip pages. It's a very charmed moment.
Mhm.
Like the pages start flipping in the book. And there's a blank page that it opens to, and all of a sudden, Bafana's handwriting start to appear and a recipe, which include a flower that she's never heard of before called the verdant wish bloom. Um, and um, now she's like, gotta find that.
Now she's got research.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah,
Um, but I also wrote, I also wrote something about the mist. Did the mist start coming back in this chapter?
last chapter.
Oh, because there are someone mentioned that their friend was experiencing the same symptoms that Bradford and Mary had when they were infected by the mist. So the mist, obviously, we already know it's not gone because it was just talking to Rowan in the last chapter, but
They've
that's,
weakened him, I guess, is I
yeah.
think a better
They didn't defeat it. They
term.
just, um, So now she's like, never heard about this. Now I'm going to have to do some research. And that's the end of chapter 4.
And
Um,
chapter 5 is. I had to reread chapter 5, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little confused.
it's a weird chapter.
Wouldn't be the first time, and it definitely will not be the last, but
Brigid is like in the woods. Um, and she goes to the river, and there's something is it seems a bit different, she feels. Um,
like a glow or something like that to it.
yeah. And so there's a cave there, um, where the crystals are, which I think was mentioned in the last book.
Yeah, because I think that's where
Um,
she had to go to get, like, the World Tree entrance.
yeah. Um, and as she's like walking around through here, she is looking for a shell. Um, but instead she finds, is that right now? She finds a wall of shimmery aquamarine crystals looking for this spindly seashell she had seen before. Um, but she ends up pulling. She asks the shell, "Are you meant to come with me?" And it like pulses with light. And so she pulls it out of the wall. Um, and it's like a shell crystal, she calls it. Um, and she's like holding it in her hand, and then
As
all of a
she's,
sudden
like, looking at it.
yeah, and she opens her eyes and she's underwater.
Yeah, because it was like she felt herself sinking backward into a dark black void.
Yeah, as she's staring into the crystal.
Mhm.
And then when she opens her eyes, she's underwater. And
And it's
she's
not like
like,
she wasn't just, like, in a dream world, she was legitimately underwater.
yeah, no, she was like legitimately underwater. And then she like gets out of the water and she's at Starlight Lake and she's like talking to the ether. I don't know.
Yeah,
She's
she's, like,
like,
just calling out loud to the
yeah.
space.
She's like, I was supposed to get I had a dream I was supposed to get this crystal and it brought me here. So if you could help me in any way or tell me what I'm supposed to do, that'd be super cool. Like that's literally what's written. Um, but nothing happens
Yeah, 'cause
in
she's
that
like
chapter.
she still notices, like, the shimmery of the, like, the waves in the water, and, the water was, like, tropical in nature because it was slightly warm and it smelled of ocean.
Yeah. But it's a
Um,
lake, so she was like, "What?"
yeah, and after her little monologue of, like, "Do if you need my help, like, you gotta tell me, but I don't know," um, a golden iridescent orb-like light rippled through the water from the center of this mysterious lake. So there is something going on in the lake that I wouldn't say she triggered, but like recognized something
Her.
in her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she follows it because it dives like the light dives down into the water. Um, and she like dives down after it. And then she's like, it looks more like the ocean than it does like a lake or like space. And then all of a sudden she feels a little dizzy, closes her eyes, and then she's back in the cavern behind the waterfall. Um, and she's like, "What the fuck was that?" like,
Yeah.
um, and she's like,
And-
"Shit, I have to tell my friends about this." But she's like, "Oh fuck, I just went into the water with my phone. My phone's not gonna work." Um, but it does. It doesn't appear to be wet at all.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So the bitch
So,
runs and jumps back into the water.
yeah, she jumped into the waterfall area, cascading water, and down into the shimmering waters below. And then she was
Because she
indeed in
wanted to
the,
test like where the
yeah,
waterfall would put to spit her out.
because she figured it was Starlight Lake, and it was. Um, so she swam, then trudged to the water's edge, wondering what she had seen under the water. So once she was out of the water and she wiped herself as best she could, she texted the girls, having them meet her where she's at with a dry set of clothes.
Yeah. And then when they get there, she by the time they get there, she remembers that she's a witch and dries herself off.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I forgot."
Um, and they start talking about everything, and she's like, I'm trying to figure out what I meant when I wrote down. Oh, okay. So Morgan does another kind of like card reading for them for the situation. Um, no, sorry. Blah, blah, blah. I'm jumping ahead. They go back to,
Mary's house.
yeah, Mary's house to have like a sleepover. And then they go to sleep and, um, they have dreams about underwater stars, ripples in the water, and rain falling in reverse. Mary's in particular was filled with a song that would linger when she woke, and I'm sure that
She's
is
got something to do with it.
foreshadowing. But Morgan wakes up in the middle of the night and does a reading about everything that's happened, and the high priestess flies out of the deck. Which is I feel also foreshadowing, but then I'm like, is the high priestess Mary, or is it this being in the lake that we don't haven't met yet?
I think it would be kind of cool for it to be Mary because she's not a witch, but what she's like some ethereal being from the lake.
Yeah,
That would be kind of cool.
it would.
And it would make her feel like, I mean, she still would be different, but it's similar, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Make
Um,
her feel a little less left out, maybe.
yeah, because she's got something cool about her. This is where I got like,
So confused.
yeah, it's one of those things where like it wasn't mentioned before, and because of how long it's been since both of us have read, we were both like, is this just us not remembering, or like was this a new concept that it just kind of sprang
Yes.
up? So Rowan and the Mist are searching through the woods looking for something. Um, and apparently it's a lounge of some sort. We don't really know what the lounge is, just that it was a lounge from Rowan's time or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
called the Starlight Lounge. And apparently Rowan betrayed it and betrayed this woman, and the magic burns him for it. So we don't know if this is just something that the mist is saying to get him to like be weak minded, so that he can like keep hold of the mist, or the mist can keep hold of Rowan, or if he actually did do something. So Rowan actually has been thinking of a girl named Aurelia, or Aurelia. I think, yeah, I just said the same thing. Um, but something happened to where he left. But it's like, where the fuck did this lounge come from?
Yeah, I was really confused about the lounge too. And like from this chapter, I was like, okay, this lounge, we're learning. I was kind of like, okay, we're learning about something new, but maybe I've heard of this before. But then when it comes back up later, I was like, what the fuck? Because it seems like the characters are just aware of this
Yeah,
lounge. And I was
and
like, I do not remember this lounge.
yeah, and that's where I was like, what? like the Ken meme from Barbie. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I understand that like Rowan knows about it and like that's just kind of like how you're introducing it.
Yeah.
And then we like learn about how it's made or how it came to be. And then now everyone just like, oh yeah, this. And I was like, wait, what? Like, when did that happen?
Yeah.
So, um, so yeah, after that whole, they found the lounge and they're looking for something. This lounge used to be Rowan's sanctuary, his second chances, but it was also his failure. And I guess there's like a dragon key and there's like a threshold, um, that he plunged into the lounge's threshold. And he did it because of grief and fury. So this probably doesn't sound like it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Um, but we don't really see what happens at this point either.
Yeah. And then we switch back to the girls and they've like woken up and Morgan is telling them about the card reading and that like um that it means that they have to really like listen and pay attention right now because the high priestess only speaks when we're ready to listen. Um but there's a little bit of like a contentious moment between the girls where Brigid keeps like having Gryffindor behavior and interrupting and Morgan's like, bitch, like I need you to listen to me and trust that I have like let me say what I need to say.
Yeah.
Um and she's like, we really need to pay close attention to our dreams because the high priestess is like governs the dream space and subconscious knowing. So then they decide to talk about their dreams from last night and journal about it. And Bridget's like, you have a journal, right, Mary? And I just love that like they're still including her because like I feel like especially in a witchy or pagan space, like a journal can be like a really sacred thing. Um,
Yeah, because it helps you remember what you're thinking or what you dreamt of.
yeah,
And then it also helps you like go back and decipher when you're in a different mindset.
yeah. Um, I love that they're like including her in this part of their traditions as well. And then it's chapter 8. And this is where I literally the only thing I wrote about this chapter was, am I crazy? Why don't I remember the Starlight Lounge? Because um
This is kind of what happens after Rowan puts the dragon key into
yeah. The glamour kind of
the threshold.
shatters. So the Starlight Lounge actually is like rotting floorboards, warped chairs. Everything's covered in dust and mold. Um, and the mist is encouraging this because this is just pushing Rowan farther from the Starlight Lounge. Um, and then Rowan leaves the Starlight Lounge.
Yeah,
Um,
because he's like, it was beautiful and broken. It was boarded up emptiness. Um, a mere memory of its former self. Ivy on a frame curled inward, then writhed outward. And then he was like, "There's still time." For a voice fluttered across his memory, and then he
yeah.
walked on.
Yep. And then we're back with the girls again. Um, well, kind for a minute. Um,
They're talking about the who the high priest. They're trying to discuss who the high priest or who they think the high priestess is.
yeah. And they don't really know.
Yeah, at first they're thinking it is Bafana.
And then
Um,
she's like, but then I saw all these colors and felt a different kind of energy, like something I'm not used to.
yeah, which makes me
And then,
wonder if it's not Mary in some way.
yeah.
maybe Mary's involved, but not like the high priestess involved, you know?
So I have a theory, and this is only because I know that, like, from reading the back and from hearing a little bit about this, that there are mer people, or at least one mer person. I'm kind of wondering if Mary doesn't get sirened.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
that's my theory right now.
that makes sense.
Um, but we'll see. Because that's all that they talk about the girls in this chapter, and then we're with Carrie. And
This is kind of where it's like, what?
yes, this is where I got
Um,
confused because Carrie goes to the Starlight Lounge.
yeah, so she's like searching for it and then she finds it. And I guess what I'm confused about is like, has she always known about it? Like, it's not written if she's
Yeah,
all it, like, well, we don't know yet, I guess. But it to me, it sounds like she's always known about it. But
yeah,
then it was just introduced by somebody else. So then it's like, wait, like, is
yeah.
this a well known area? I feel like people have to trudge out here to get to this place.
Right.
Like,
Um,
did she just feel that it was out here and not that she just like followed it? But like, she on the next page, on page 32, she actually says, and there it was, the Starlight Lounge or the ghost of it. And that's like, what? Hold on.
yeah. But then, or further down that page, she says she didn't know why, but something in her heart ached for this place, ached like an old song she'd forgotten she once sang. Um, and then she says, "This place, it's hurting."
Mhm.
So I don't know if she's always known about this place, or if like maybe the spirit of Aurelia is bringing her here to help heal it. But yeah, I got really confused about this part too.
The help heal it makes
So,
sense considering she's like supposed to try to heal plants in the tree.
right. And I'm wondering if like this plant that she's finding, the Verdant Wish plant,
Is gonna
um,
help.
yeah, is somehow connected. But that's the end of chapter 8. Chapter 9,
And now we're with Nick, Saint Nick,
Nick. Yeah.
Santa Claus.
Yes, yes, yes. This gave me a little bit of clarity. At least I wrote that it did.
Well, it kind of showed us how it started.
Yeah. Yeah, because Brigid goes into Nick's or witnesses Nick's memory.
Hmm.
Um, and we learn a little bit like we learn how the this is the Starlight Lounge, right?
Yeah.
We learn how the Starlight Lounge was created by Bafana and Nick. Um, and like how they will get up. So like it's almost it kind of is giving like the House of Wind.
Mm-hmm. It's like giving
Like
it spirit.
it's almost a like a living place. Um, but there was a little bit more of like an explanation about the Starlight Lounge and how it began. And it says it would appear only when called by the soul. Um, which makes me think that like it doesn't always appear in the same place.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of in an other place.
Maybe that's why
Um,
they like had to go find it.
yeah. Um, but yeah, no, that was helpful for my understanding a little bit. Um, but then there's a interesting capitalization and italices on the next page. So she comes back to the present and is still talking to Nick, and she's like, I don't even know what to say to that. And Nick says, it was certainly a special moment, a significant time being capitalized and italicized. Um,
Yeah, well, it was capitalized when the voice spirit or whatever said to Rowan, there's still time.
yeah. which with the last book being about time travel and like lost in time, I was like, huh. But then she's like, so what do I need to know about the Starlight Lounge? And he's like, I think you gotta ask Bafana. And she's like, okay, I guess I'm going back in time again because Bafana is
Bafana's
no
not there, it's
longer,
not there.
yeah. Um, so that's what's about to happen. And then chapter 10. So here,
I also forgot who
um,
Harris was, to
I
be
did too.
honest.
I don't know that I ever figured it out either. Um,
So
she
this is
like
another
writes
journal
in her
entry.
journal,
Yeah.
um, and yeah. So she's talking. Who is she talking to? She's talking to Harris. I still don't remember who Harris is, but she's telling him about Rowan and like, or he's telling her about Rowan. And is Harris the like guy that was living in the cave that she saved? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and he's telling her about Aurelia and Rowan and how they were like two sides of a truth that no one had ever seen whole before. Because he had logic, potential, hunger for control. She had intuition, song, which also feels like foreshadowy. Um,
Yeah. Especially because
I
Mary had a dream that she like a song that wouldn't end.
yeah,
Not wouldn't end, but like she just continued it, you know?
I think based on this chapter that the high priestess is Aurelia.
Yeah.
Um, but they
Well, and they also I think it's the mer spirit that gets awoken. Because they talked
I
about the
think that's
founders.
Aurelia.
Yeah. Like they talked about the founders, the original circle were meant to unite the realms.
Yeah, and Rowan turned his back on her. Um, and she said to him, if things ever fall apart, meet me at the water's edge and we'll start again. Um, but then he left. And she waited and waited and waited.
And
Um,
they were supposed to meet each other at the water's edge, which is like
mhm. And finally, so she waited at the shore until finally she let go of the shape of who she had been. She walked into Lake Ashmere and never came back. And Bridget's like, she died? Like, that's. Whew. And Harris is like, no, she transformed. And she never stopped singing. So I think that she is both the mer spirit and the high priestess.
yeah, I could see that.
Um, and then he's like, and Rowan is obsessed with the artifact and the timeline. He wants to bend the timeline to fix his failure. Which is what awakened the lounge because it's not just a place, it's a memory, a wound, a key. Um, and of course, somehow Brigid is central to the fixing of all of this
Mhm.
because that's just how it works. And that's
And you know,
basically it.
yeah. Well, and it's funny too because like this is obviously something that has to get done before the solstice or whatever. Um da, 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 da. But they also made a comment or apparently within her dream, Bafana's words arose like a mist and it says the water holds the truth together three in hopeful youth. Through time restored, a wound once sealed on solstice's edge, all is revealed. That's where it's like that's where I'm like, everything always happens on a solstice, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But they said together 3 in hopeful use, and I kinda wonder if, like, it's not necessarily I mean, obviously, I think it's Mary, Morgan, and Brigid, but I kinda wonder if it's, like, those 3, um, like, in place of the youth of once, like, Rowan, Aurelia, and, like,
Oh, okay.
somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they take the place of them, like, they're the youth of this time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And then chapter 11 starts with Morgan having like bad dreams, like dark dreams about smoky fog trapped in a house of mirrors, fearing that her goodness was being siphoned away. Um, and she didn't, but she's not telling anybody about it. She's like kind of keeping it to herself. She won't even write it down in her journal because she's worried about like manifesting it. She's worried about being controlled by the mist.
mhm.
But
Honest
then
fear.
that's a very short little blip, and then we abruptly jump to Carrie having like girl time. And I'm not gonna lie, it made me completely forget about the whole Morgan thing because it like I love that Carrie is doing something for herself. So she's with a
Marlo, who's
friend,
the
which I
librarian.
yeah.
We never met
Um,
Marlo, at least I don't recall, like, it's not one of those, like, things where you're like, "Oh, that's Marlo," like, I remember her from book
right.
1. She might have been mentioned, but not like
Not as central of a
yeah.
character. Um, but Carrie tells her the truth that like she has actual magic. And Marlo is like, "Oh, thank the cosmos. I thought I was going mad. The way your teas work, the way the plants respond to your touch, I knew there was something special, but I didn't want to spook you." And Carrie was like all worried that she wasn't going to believe her at all.
Like, she's
So
going
like
as a
this is a
friend.
really special moment. Um,
And it
and
shows that, like, Carrie's not alone either because considering Carrie is consistently, it seems like, by herself or at the shop or with her daughter,
mhm,
it's nice to see that she has, like, a confidant that's not just her kid.
yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Um, and then um she's asking her to like help. They're researching the plant together. Um, and then they get asked on a double date.
Yeah, the police officer, Anthony, comes in.
Yeah,
Um,
which was kind of a flirtation in the last book, if I remember right.
there was somebody.
Um, and now they're gonna
Going on a
go on a
double
double
date with
date.
Christopher and Anthony.
Yeah,
Officer
and
Dew, that's who it was. Officer Dew.
yeah, and Marlo's gonna help her research the verdant wish flower, and yeah. Um, in chapter 12, we're still with Carrie, and I love it because Bradford comes in, and I just love their friendship. Like Bradford gives gay best friend vibes.
Yeah, because he's
Um,
so out there.
yeah, and he shows up and is like, "Are you Karen with Bellfire? Are you ghosting me?" And she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's like, "Do I need to file a missing witch report? You promised to help with Swimfest, and I've seen more garden gnomes lately than I've seen you." And she's like, "Dude." Um, and then they kind of she gives him tea first because she's like, "You need to calm down." Um, and then they spend 30 minutes planning.
Or like you get 30 minutes and that's it. Let's work it
Yeah,
out. Which I don't know how the fuck you can plan an entire festival in 30 minutes, but kudos to anyone who can, because damn.
right? I don't know. But yeah, they plan it and then she's like, "Now you got to leave me alone." Um,
For two
and then
whole
we,
weeks.
yeah, and he's like, 2 weeks, I might wilt. He's just very flamboyant, whether gay or not. He's just very flamboyant.
Yeah.
And then we're back to Brigid. And I don't. Oh yeah, so this is where they start communicating. Carrie talks to her about the bloom, the verdant wish bloom, and is like, we need to loop the girls in. Then she says the Starlight Lounge has appeared again, and I'm like, it's making me want to go back and reread the other books because I'm like, did we hear about this fucking lounge before? But um, anyway, she's like, we need them to see it, and they're just kind of telling each other what they know and comparing notes, basically. Um, and so I don't know. That's the only thing I wrote about this chapter because I just felt, or well, about this section of the chapter because I felt like that was important because it's a theme in so many fantasy books, and I realize it's plot driving, but it drives me nuts that they don't just communicate because things could go so much better if they did.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that it's great that they're communicating now.
Hmm.
And then chapter 13. They all meet in Bafana's garden. Um, and
Go ahead.
no, I was just, you go ahead because I don't really,
You're
I
like,
don't know.
what was I saying?
I mean, they're
Yeah.
kind of on like a scavenger hunt, sort of.
Yeah. Because um, she gets them together and then they meet in the Bafana's garden. Like the marigolds are there, all of these other kinds of plants. Um, but Morgan says like it's humming the plants, the earth, something's awakening. Um, and she's like, Mom said the garden was connected, that Bafana used to hide things in plain sight, layered like her spells. Um, so basically they were gonna let the garden tell them what they're looking for. Um,
Yeah.
so Morgan ended up paused beside the twisted trunk of a fig tree and said, "Hey, over here." And when they were over there, they saw that the fig tree was dead or nearly dead at least. But on or beside its gnarled roots sat an old tree stump, split down the middle like a cracked dish. Uh, the surface was worn and weathered, but something caught the light. And when Bridget knelt down, um, etched faintly into the wood was an hourglass, almost the exact shape of the tiny one in her pocket. And I think that's like the artifice that helps her like go back in time, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is like Nick, what basically what Nick said, like go back to Bafana and ask her yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So instead of actually going back in time, she's going back to Bafana's garden, um,
Yep.
to where apparently she hid things in plain sight. Um, but as soon as she put the hourglass that she has in the shallow groove of the etching, it fit perfectly, and then it ended up glowing.
Yep. The
Um,
stump glowed. Yeah.
yeah,
And it clicks,
and then a
and
parchment opens and comes out.
yeah, the little compartment comes out, and there's a piece of parchment and a miniature carving of a snowflake-like pole, clearly the North House Company pole, stylized and marked with ruins. And so I'm sure that is like the next thing they need to unlock the next
Yeah,
clue. But on the parchment in Bafana's, well, I guess we don't know that it's Bafana's handwriting. It just says in the faded, looping handwriting of someone long gone. It says, the first seed is buried not in frost, but in flame. Seek the place where memory wears mittens and time keeps its truest secrets cold. which is
The polar vault.
North House. Yeah, the Polar Vault, or at the very least, North House. Um, so they got to go back to Nick. And again, we are like, let's go talk to Carrie. They're like, we need to go talk to your mom about it. Um, and they do, and just the communication and the healthiness is good to see. Um, and
Well, and I really appreciate that, like, Brigid's the one who is keeping the secrets, and then the other two are like, well, let's go tell your mom. She's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
know.
And then they're telling her about it, and then all of a sudden her phone starts ringing. Bridget's phone starts ringing, and Carrie answers it, and he says, they found it, the first clue, didn't they? And she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, I know that carving well. The vault's opening just glowed, and look, they need to come now if possible. Um, and she's like, okay, well, they're just telling me what happened. And he says, good, but listen carefully. Once they enter the polar vault, it's not just about what they find, it's about what it wakes up. Um, and I'm just like, not Nick being cryptic as fuck. Like,
And then apparently she didn't even tell Nick that she's on her own little scavenger hunt. And then he's like, so
mm-hmm.
how's your own little scavenger hunt going? And she goes, I haven't mentioned it to you yet. And he goes, you didn't need to, but whatever you're doing for the people for the lounge, it's working. It will work. Just don't wait too long to finish.
Yeah.
And then she goes, I know I'm going to take a bit longer, but I'm hoping to have the remedy ready by solstice. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, what's happening?
Yep. It's all gonna culminate together on the solstice. And so that's the end of that chapter. And chapter 14, I got real confused. I literally, the only thing I wrote for chapter 14 was, I feel like I missed a whole ass book. What is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like,
Um,
what the fuck is happening? Because they like
so,
come to like a trail. And then Bridget placed one hand against the thick trunk of an alder tree. And then she's like, okay, let's see if you'll help me again. And then she pressed her palms to the forest floor, and the soil was damp and cool, alive with memory. And then a subtle tremor pulsed outward.
and Mary said, Brigid, the ground is moving.
Yeah, I
I
would.
am not emotionally prepared for this. Valid reaction.
Yeah. And then Morgan's like leaping from one raised root to the next. And she goes, I'm a forest nymph with excellent footwork. 10 out of 10.
And Bridget said, you're going to twist an ankle and I am not carrying you again. And so it's just like a very fun moment. Um, and then all of a sudden that moment is over and she's like, come on, we got to go. The polar vault is waiting for us. They go into North Hasco, say hi to Nick. Um,
And he's like, I see Morgan hasn't lost her brooding aura. And she's like, it's called mystery.
yeah, it's just so funny.
Come along then, Mystery and Company. You've triggered something bigger than you know it.
Yeah, and he takes them to the vault door and is like, are you guys ready for this? As ready as we'll ever be. The door opens, and Nick says, the vault remembers who you are, and steps aside, allowing Bridget to enter first. And that's the end of chapter 14 in this episode.
Yeah.
So kind of a
So,
cliffhanger ending too, for this episode. And I have not read ahead because I just haven't had time lately.
yeah.
So I don't know what's happening either.
I haven't read ahead because I'm lazy
Because you're
and
gestating.
just well, it's like, I think last night was the first night you actually got some rest. Because like when you hit your second/third trimester, like women, like 50% of women like start snoring, even if they've never snored in their life, like they tend to snore. And snoring usually means that like you're not breathing very well, and that's usually about the time that like the babies get bigger and like all of your goods are getting pressed together or like smaller, or well, not smaller, but like getting like compressed. And he's like, "Yeah, you didn't snore at all last night. Like, you didn't toss and turn all night. Like, you stayed pretty much like at two spots." And I was like, "Yeah, I feel
Hey,
pretty
we like it.
rested." And then I stood out in the heat today because we got a heat warning down here. Stood out in the heat today for like 10 minutes and I came in. I was like, "God, I'm exhausted." I'm like, it
Oh
never
my
fucking
gosh.
ends, does it? But so I'm gestating. So, yes, I am. And I don't have my ADHD meds. So that also does not help. But
Fair. But
yes,
yeah.
that is part one of The Secrets of Starlight Lake. And until next time.
Bye.